Ah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Familiar.
she's another
Gotcha.
powerhouse.
Man, the women in McKinney, like,
Yeah, watch her.
we're really
Right.
fortunate to have so many just strong, capable, confident women in our business community. It's,
Right.
you know, it's-
Leaders.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I mean, civic leadership too. I mean,
Yeah.
Geez. Yeah. Don't get me started. The whole, like, build a bigger table, that kind of idea. You know, and you probably had, it's part of your story as a double minority, you know, a person of color and a female in a business environment. Like, it's so much better when we build a bigger table, a more diverse table, more
Yes.
perspective, you know, more origin stories. Like, I love anytime I see someone in business who's a woman, especially someone who's a woman of color, someone who's from an ethnic minority, socioeconomic background, family of origin, all that stuff is like awesome. We are stronger because you're here. Because if all we had was a bunch of middle-aged suburban Protestant heterosexual white dudes, that's boring, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, yes, we might technically be in the majority as you know, cultural background, but yes,
Right.
we're so much stronger when different perspectives are added in. It's like a stew, right? You add that extra ingredient. It's like, ooh, this is more interesting
It's like
now.
bay leaf. You don't know
Yeah.
quite what it tastes
What
like.
is a
Makes
bay
it
leaf?
better.
Does anyone actually know what a bay leaf is? What does it exist? Because you literally take it out, but you don't eat it.
But you need it.
Yeah.
You need it in the stew, or else it's
Yeah.
not quite right.
I'd love to have been there when
Yeah.
people are experimenting. Oh, let's put in a maple leaf. Oh,
No,
let's put in
right.
a magnolia leaf because it's even larger. You know,
Yeah.
Well, I will say that some of my background, having diversity in teams, is really important. And so my background was military, and I went into the combat arms branch of field artillery once it opened to women.
Mhm.
So the year that it actually, on the
Really?
officer side, yeah.
Wow.
So we were the first class that went through.
which branch?
Army.
Army.
And so we went through field artillery. Reason why I did that was because my father was field artillery. He fought in Vietnam. And he's like, if you're going to go into military, you need to go into logistics. So when you get out, you can go work at UPS. It's like, thanks, but no thanks. Why did he want to do that? I think he just was thinking, you know, as a father would, you know, what can you do down the line that would be, you know, lucrative?
Yeah.
I said, absolutely not. You're not going to be the only one with cool stories. I'm going into field artillery. And I did. But I think his concern was that he has a daughter. He knew what the branch was. It was
Yeah.
not open to women, and it was not open to, or it was not welcome for a lot of minorities.
Yeah.
And so he foresaw trouble. What I will say is I did, in fact, encounter a lot of, I wouldn't say hostility. I would say maybe curious, unwelcome would be a word that I would use.
Some sort of prejudice or discrimination.
Correct.
Yeah.
And but through hard work, I was able to change a lot of people's minds, and our teams, any team that I was a part of, we became stronger for that. There was a mental shift with the people that accepted me, and then we were able to break barriers and create new records for firing times, just because of that thing that you were talking about. When you get that diverse team together, you're unstoppable.
Yeah.
You start realizing that people have these great strengths and qualities, and where one's weak and one's strong, you just bridge the gap.
Yeah.
And so it's really amazing to watch that shift psychologically with people, and to see the team grow, because once you disband, as the military does, they move you every 2 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
They were taking that with them to their other units. They already worked with someone who was a double minority.
Yeah.
And they were like, we are going to look for talent, and it doesn't matter what they look like. And
100%.
the subsequent teams that they built were probably stronger because of that interaction.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong,
Mhm.
but that prejudice, that discrimination was extremely short-lived, because once they realized, this lady's capable.
Yes.
She's eager, she's got the right attitude, and she has the competence, the training, the skills to deliver excellent results. I bet, knowing the armed services like I do, that prejudice and discrimination evaporated like a fart in the wind.
It did.
It's
It
gone.
did.
The moment you
Yes.
prove yourself,
Yes.
everybody shuts up. It's like, oh, Yeah, she's good. Let's go.
Well, not only do they shut up about it, but then they want you on the team.
Yeah.
Because now you can get results.
Yeah.
And everyone wants
Now you're a weapon.
Exactly. Now you're desirable. You're like, hey, we need this.
We want her.
On the team.
She's with us.
Exactly.
Get picked first for kickball.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And to the point where now I'm overworking myself, right?
Yeah.
Taking home, like work at home until 9 o'clock at night, getting up for PT at 4:30 in the morning, not really having a life. But at the time, it was important because I needed to demonstrate what I could do.
Sure.
And then after that, I just sit back and let the reputation, do what it needed to do. Now we can focus on the job. There was no more need to exert myself or prove myself over and over again.
Okay, so I have to formally introduce you. Do I say your last Hosein? How do you say it?
It's Hussein, no relation.
Okay, gotcha.
I love that.
Different spelling. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so welcome Dr. Ayesha Hosein to the McKinney Podcast. This is where we celebrate what makes us unique by nature. I didn't get your name.
Wyatt.
Wyatt
Kennedy.
No relation.
No relation.
No relation.
This is a show of no relation.
That's
Two
right.
two dictators is what politicians and criminals.
I'm
Good.
telling you.
Good.
Well, it's been a great episode. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time. No, so did you deploy as a part of that group, or were you all stateside?
So I had 2 combat deployments, one to Iraq, one to Afghanistan.
Oh, wow.
I also did an overseas tour in Korea, but that's just considered an overseas tour.
Sure.
I did a couple of exercises up in Alaska in both at Eielson Air Force Base and Fort Wainwright.
During the winter or during the summer?
During the summer.
Oh, okay.
During the summer. So it was summer transitioning
So-
because no thank you for winter.
That's right.
So Wyatt, what I heard her say is, if you don't treat her right, she can kill you from miles away.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cool thing is, so we actually met in the military. So we met in basic training in
2013, 2014.
Yeah, the end of 2013.
Wow.
So does Uncle Sam, endorse fraternizing with your recruits?
Unless it's not chain of command, you're fine. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So we were both officers. So that's not frowned upon.
Okay.
Fortunately.
Okay.
But we met each other in basic training and went to OCS together afterward. And then we didn't really like each other. We separated. We knew each other. And then
Why didn't we like each other? Why?
Well, I was from a very small town in Oklahoma, and she was from Brooklyn. And there was just a lot of differences between us. So
This has the making of a Hallmark movie.
It
guys.
does.
So wait, did you own a bakery?
we knew each other in OCS, and then she went her way and I went mine, and then we reconnected about 6 years later.
Yeah.
Tours, deployments for both of us after that, and then got together.
Okay. Well, that kind of answers the one question I was going to ask. So when your feet first touched the earth, it was New York.
No. So my father was already in and done with his service. My grandmother was ailing. She was in Trinidad. And my mom, while pregnant, traveled back home and had me while she was taking care of her mother.
Oh, you're from Trini.
So I'm a U.S. citizen born abroad, so I can still be president. Just in case that
She's
was
keeping her options open.
That's right. I love that. I love
Hey,
that. So-
I'm getting energy from you that everything's still on the table. You haven't ruled it out yet.
No, everything is possible.
Yeah.
Everything is possible. So Trinidad was where I was born, and I was there for 2 years. And then we went back to New York because we were already established there.
Mhm.
Spent the next 28 years in New York and said, I will never leave here. It is the best place in the whole wide world. We can deliver whatever we want. We don't need a car. This is the place to be. And then I joined the military and got to travel outside of New York and realize this place smells. So,
And there's always sirens.
correct.
The
correct.
sirens never stop.
No, they shouldn't. There's
Yeah.
too many people and too many things to address. So,
I got to see New York City for the first time back in December. My wife and I took an anniversary trip there. We flew into LaGuardia, so we saw a little bit of Queens,
Yep.
but spent our whole time in Manhattan, as most tourists do. But man, oh man, what a magical, magical place it is. There's nothing like New York City on them. I've been a lot of places. I've been all over our country, lots of other countries, not nearly as many as you. But New York City is one of one. There's nothing like it.
yes, I agree. And I think that's what drew my father to that dream because he wanted to go to New York for the American dream.
Yeah.
And that's what that beacon is what got him there all those years ago. And that's why he decided that this is where he needed to raise his family.
Yeah.
And
Was he from Trinidad?
He was born in Trinidad, yes. So as far as I can tell, because we don't have a lot of written record above my grandparents, the last 2 generations or before them were all from Trinidad. Prior to that, we don't know. So we speculate that they might have been from Pakistan on my father's side, maybe some indentured servitude. They came over with that group. And then on my mother's side, she knew that she has heritage from Nepal.
Okay.
So we have the East Indian heritage, but we are West Indian culturally.
Wow.
Yeah.
By way of Brooklyn.
Correct.
Yeah. So Trinidad, Pakistan, Nepal, Brooklyn. You are a stew, a melting pot
with a bay leaf.
With ethnic origin.
With a bay leaf? Are you calling him your bay leaf?
That's my bay leaf.
He's your little bay leaf.
He makes my life so much
Such
better.
a sweet bay
He
leaf.
adds the spice.
That underlying tone of goodness that you can't put your finger on.
I'm going to need to put that on a T-shirt. It just says, "I'm the bay leaf."
Yes.
People are like, "Huh?"
They'll get
I don't
it.
know. You know, in mine and Elizabeth's relationship, I might be the ham hock.
Oh, okay.
It's another thing you add. You just, it's right. You just add and take
Throw
it
it in there.
Okay, so you graduated high school in New York and then immediately went.
No.
See,
So
fill in the gaps.
Yeah. So went to elementary school, high school, and college in New York. Graduated from Brooklyn College. Started my master's
With
there.
a degree in.
So degree was in biology, with the intent to go pre-med.
Okay.
Funny enough, so pre-med. Started my master's at Brooklyn College. Did some work with genetics, and it was really, really interesting. But I started to get a little disenfranchised with the medical model at the time because it was profit-based.
Yeah.
I worked for...
Oh, you're saying the medical model was profit-based?
But now
it's
all
it's definitely not
centered.
profit-based now.
No, it definitely still is. But I guess the curtain started getting pulled back from me
Yeah.
because, I had that gleam in my eye. I want to help people. I want to help them feel better. And I thought that was the route in which I would help people feel better. So in working while in school, as most people do in New York, I was working at a chiropractor's office, funny enough. And then I worked for an OBGYN, ran that office for 8 years. So I didn't actually join the military until I was 30. I was doing really well in my jobs, but I just didn't feel fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
I had good money, but something was missing. And I always had that itch, not the 7-year itch, but the itch.
You're Safeway.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
The
Glad you
time's not
clarified.
up.
Yeah.
So I always had that itch to serve. My dad, now his reasoning for joining was different from mine. At the time, the draft was instituted for Vietnam, and he was there. And actually, my mother's brother, so my uncle, was there as well. And they made 2 different decisions. My uncle chose to go back home to Trinidad because he did not want to join the draft. And my father said, "No, I'm going to stay. I'm going to fight for this country because this is the country that we're choosing to live and grow with." And so he stayed. He did his tour. I think he stayed in for 3 years. And in growing up with that, there was an inspiration. So I needed to go.
Yeah.
And I was 30 and I was like, I'm not getting any younger. So I need to do it now. So I did it. I left. I told my boss that I'm going to do this. And he said, "What are they paying you? I'll match it."
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I said, "I'm actually taking a $40,000 pay cut." And he could not understand why that was.
Yeah.
And again, so he was a doc at the time.
Yeah.
And couldn't put together why would somebody want to do this for a pay cut?
Mm-hmm.
Because at that time it was no longer about money. I need to do my duty. So
it's so interesting to me because certainly you're aware. I mean, it's your story, but how rare your situation is. A single, no kids woman getting in her 30s.
yes.
Like that is exceptionally rare anywhere in the armed forces.
Yes. It's also not advised now that I did it.
Yeah.
Because going to basic training with young, fit males who are 18 years old.
Yeah.
It's a slap in the face because they can out PT you any day of the week.
So is there like a 12-year age gap difference between the two of you?
No, actually, 3 years. So I went into the military at 27, and so we were both a little bit older going in.
I'm the cougar.
Yeah, older woman. Great, that's good, boy. That's all right. Okay, so fast forward. You're both in basic,
Correct.
and you know each other.
Yes.
And then you progress through the ranks, and you said you're now in officer candidate school, OCS.
Mm.
What was the switch? So obviously in basic, all the guys look the same, right? Young, buff, and bald, right?
That's
Yes.
it. That's it.
Yes.
So how did Wyatt stand out to you?
I'm not sure. It's that unspoken divine twinkle that you see.
He had a
You got the twinkle
Blue
one.
Glow. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, truly, because he didn't have this luxurious head of hair at the time.
It's quite a nice coif you got up there, my
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
well.
and good facial game.
Yeah.
For someone who doesn't have it, I'm like, oh,
He's a
man,
great
like
barber.
you guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you his barber?
I am.
Oh,
I am.
way to go.
Yeah.
Barber, doctor, chiropractor.
Chiropractor.
That's right. Yeah.
I feel like you're winning this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
What unique skills do you bring?
I
to the
recognize
Wyatt?
this.
Okay, so let's go from the other side here. Now's your chance to, you're going to leave here the hero,
Sure. Well, that's a lot of pressure.
or there's a florist, just down the road. At what point were you like, okay, she's from Brooklyn, she's annoying, but I like her?
No, she was always just. I didn't really notice. I didn't notice her in basic training. I noticed her more in OCS because there were more leadership roles at that time.
Okay, but let's be factual here. In basic training, what's the ratio of dudes to chicks?
Oh,
Man, 15 to 1.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there's
Lots of competition for the ladies if you want to go that
Absolutely.
direction.
She was in another platoon, so we weren't actually together. We were under the same
Okay.
company, but
Mhm.
different platoon. And I was, military was all new to me. But no, I noticed her more in OCS at that point. Yeah.
Mhm.
And she was just a very confident, articulate woman that knew what she was doing. And she was pleasant to work with, pleasant to be around. And that was the first thing that I noticed about her.
Well, it's got to be kind of a camaraderie thing, too,
Mhm.
because the two of you stuck out like sore thumbs. Because, you're not 12 years older than the kids,
Yeah.
but you're 9 years older than the kids.
Sure.
You're a grown man.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you're not
we
coming in fresh out of high school.
Yeah.
You're coming in as an adult who
Sure. chose
to be here, not because they're from some dead-end podunk crap town somewhere and have nothing else to do with their life, so they joined up.
Oklahoma.
we both had professional careers.
Yeah.
We made that decision, on our own and wanted
Yeah.
to serve. That was the underlying decision.
What I hear is you're saying we were in the senior citizens club.
No,
So
it's
right.
we found.
So
another-
when did she when did she finally reach having the twinkles status?
It was years later. So after we left OCS, she went her way. Well, actually, she went to Fort Sill, and I was a firefighter there at the time. So we got to know each other a little more at that time.
Mm.
We
Everyone loves a firefighter.
exactly.
They're so handsome.
yeah.
Yeah.
So while
Were we
she
talking
was
like
there,
firefighter calendar, firefighter guy, or
I'm
I
still
wasn't-
waiting for my
yeah,
calendar.
no, I didn't make the calendar, but I was there. So we got to know her a lot better while she was doing her BOLIC training in Fort Sill.
Mhm.
And then, over the years while she deployed and I went my way, we just stayed in touch. And she was always just a friend that, whenever I called or she called, we could just pick up wherever we left off. And just a genuinely nice person to talk to. Yeah.
I know how things are with every relationship. When you're single, when the other person's single, there's always this thing in your head of, is there something here? You're always thinking, what's going on here? Just kind of reading the energy. It's a universal thing between two single people who haven't yet attached. Is like, how did that go from, is there something here to, I think there might be something here. How did that thing? I love a good story. This podcast is all about telling stories. When we get two people from a relationship, I absolutely love how did this happen?
That's right.
That's just a good story.
And there's no cop out just saying, man, she was hot, and I just want to spend time with her.
Yeah, no, so I think it was, I had just gotten back from Afghanistan. I was currently stationed in Arizona. She had come back from one of her many, tours and was stationed in El Paso. She reached out and we were starting to really talk at that time. This was 2019. And she made the decision to choose El Paso, Texas, which nobody wants to go to El Paso, Texas, but it was the closest duty station to Arizona. And
Strategic
you were making decisions. You were making moves.
Yes.
Were you in the Phoenix area?
I was in Tucson area.
Tucson,
Yep.
right. That's because they're based in Tucson. Sorry.
So I actually Sierra Vista, which is a little bit south of Tucson. There's
So it's
Army
only
base.
like a,
Pretty
what,
much
4 or 5
4.5
drive?
hour drive.
Yeah.
So
It's all the same when you look.
it is. And
You can just close your eyes and on autopilot.
that's it.
You don't even have to make any turns. You just
No, it's
straight-
one road all the
Yeah.
way to El Paso. So she chose that spot, and that's when we really started trying to figure out if this was serious, if we had enough in common, and turns out we did. And she had always had an interest. I had always had an interest. I had always admired her, and so we decided that this is it. This is the time. And
I think the analytical part of our brain that said, big city, small town doesn't go together was what we were thinking with our brain, but our hearts told us otherwise. Because when I asked him, I said, I always had like a crush on you. From the beginning.
Look at the twinkles
And-
from the start.
Right. And then he's like, well, I liked you too. Like, when did we not connect those dots?
Yeah.
And it's because we had that big city, little city
Yeah.
thing that we were just
Yeah.
like, this would not work.
And nobody
This is
told
not
you guys that
possible.
complementary qualities tend to go really well together in,
it
exclusive
actually works
relationships.
really well.
I just want to say,
Yeah.
Paula Abdul, the great theologian and saint that she is, she had that song, Opposites Attract.
Straight up.
My wife could not be more opposite of me. My wife is sitting right across that hallway, right over there. And
That's amazing.
completely different.
Opposites.
Yeah.
All the way down to height.
5'3", 6'6".
Whoa.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. So
North and South Pole. It's-
Yeah.
It works.
uh-huh.
Well, I
Yeah.
feel dumb sometimes because my parents, my dad is a country boy and my mom is the city girl, and they've been together forever. Granted, they fight like cats and dogs, but they make it work,
Yeah.
and they have such a beautiful like love story. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why did I put that in my head that this was not compatible? I don't know.
How
Yeah.
about that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It might have been some of our training too, right? You're trained to think analytically. Like,
Yep.
what is the probability that this would or wouldn't work?
Well, listen, you go into field artillery, you leave the military, and you go into UPS.
Yeah.
Right. Logistics.
Well-
You're thinking those lines.
Yes.
So you basically took a long hiatus from medicine. You
Yes.
had a biology degree. You were going to go pre-med or medical school. Were you thinking Columbia? Where were you thinking for
Actually,
med school?
I went to Columbia for a summer program. It was
How
a
about
pre-med program.
I only ask because I know it's in the city and
Yes.
it's really well known. And I was a pre-med too, and I failed organic chemistry and got had other plans.
That
So
yes, ortho takes people out, doesn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
after 500 hours of observation in the operating room. So
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I've seen every surgery imaginable twice, and I'm not a doctor. So yeah. When I go to my primary care physician, I'm using all the correct terminology, and they're just like,
oh, it's like
"Okay,
big-
did you read my notes here?" It's like I was a 4-year pre-med. I failed OChem. Sorry. So anytime I'm around medical people, I feel kind of at home.
Good.
Yeah, and it was just like we walked into my doctor's office. I was like, I read my MRI. I have a medial tear. It's an overlapping flap, 4 millimeter tear with grade 3 chondromalacia of the subpatellar tendon. And I was like, what? Huh? I was like, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
you're really putting them to work. I love it. No,
I'm
that's
a
good.
hard patient.
No. I think I love an educated patient.
Yeah.
I really do.
It was like, so you already had the background. You were biology, pre-med, all the things. How in the world did you go back from field artillery? Obviously, you're getting out of the armed services. You didn't do reserve or guard or anything. You're like out, right?
No, I actually am still in right
Oh, you're
now.
reservist?
Yes, I am a
Okay.
reservist. I actually dropped my packet to officially leave about a week ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the reason behind that is because you cannot, there's that whole law about patient abandonment, and
Yeah.
you have to give enough heads up in order to do
Yep.
so. So now that I have my business, I cannot be called back for drills or for rotations. And right now I'm in a unit that's hooked up with CENTCOM, and they do normal rotations.
Yep, once every 4 years. Yeah.
So unfortunately, I have to
Yeah.
cut ties completely.
Well, you did your time.
I
Your
did.
country thanks you for your service.
Thank you for your
I say that
Okay.
as a citizen,
That's right.
Thank you.
as someone sitting under the umbrella of protection that you both provided. So,
Oh, I appreciate that. So while I was in service, on my first tour to Iraq, we were getting into country, it was kind of a rapid deployment. I was relieving someone whose wife was giving birth. And so I needed to get in like ASAP. So we were doing some traveling at night, which most people do in a combat zone. And when you travel at night, you travel in blackout.
Yeah.
So we're landing with no lights. We've got NVGs on. When you land, or when we were landing, I had about 90 pounds of gear on me at the time, and the back of the Chinook came down, and the ramps on the different helicopter platforms are different distances from the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't familiar with getting off of a Chinook, as it was my first deployment.
Sure.
And so I didn't know exactly how far the ground was from me.
Oh, no. I see where this is going.
Yeah. And what ended up happening was I thought it was farther, but it was a shorter distance. So
you weren't braced.
I jumped and it jolted me. I had a hot and cold
Compression fracture, any of that?
compression fracture at T12. And what ended up happening to me was, when you get off of in a combat zone, you need to get to that PAX terminal like ASAP. There's no lollygagging.
Yeah.
So
you're in unfriendly territory. You're at risk.
Correct. So couldn't do anything at the time. I felt a pop, hot, cold up and down the spine.
Oh, no.
Took off with all the gear, got into the PAX terminal.
How did they evac you? You're carrying, everybody's carrying packs.
There was no evac. I needed to get off. So I ran with all my gear.
Oh, wow.
And, went to the
You
PAX.
ran with your gear right after that?
Correct. Yes.
Wow.
And so got to the PAX terminal, stripped everything off.
Oh, my gosh.
And the only thing I felt at the time was just a severe muscle spasm, and stayed like that for the rest of that deployment. And granted, that deployment was a little bit shortened because I was replacing somebody. It wasn't a full tour. But I just went to the gym, and I was stretching, I was rolling, I was doing all the things that I thought was
Meanwhile,
great.
you had structural issues.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. As most people do, right?
Yeah.
We if it's tight, we stretch it. If it's weak, we strengthen it.
Yeah.
So I ended up not doing anything about that injury for probably the next 7 months.
7 months?
I went.
So did it fuse in the wrong place? Did it have like...
So it's got the body wedging. So the anterior portion of that body is smaller than the posterior portion. So that structurally just kind of gave me more of like a kyphosis, too much of a...
And then nerve impingement and all kinds of secondary causes. Yeah.
Correct. And then all the inflammation that comes in there. So I had pain, and I was just spasmed.
Well, you're active duty. How did you put up with that for 7 months? You're deployed.
No, you
put up with it quietly.
I mean, field artillery's super physical.
Yes.
You're loading shells and moving heavy things and being very active.
Well, the thing is, at that particular deployment, I was a liaison officer, so I wasn't loading things
thank
myself.
God. I'm trying to imagine you behind a howitzer chucking shells around. Meanwhile, you've got a compression fracture.
No, in other words, you're pointing at people. Whoa?
Yeah.
Whoa?
Yeah.
Right? You're just
exactly. I mean, granted, we still had our full kit. We were every day in full kit, dual carry. So we've got all the things on us.
T12 is right smack in the middle of your back.
Correct.
Oh my gosh. What in the world?
Yeah. And
you didn't just try to twist in a chair, like, get that.
I was trying, but it wouldn't. It was just spasm so bad at the time. And so I finally went to one of the, physicians, VA physicians. And so we did physical therapy. We did dry needling.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot of things, and nothing was really working. But I couldn't really give in to the injury. I had to continue because you can't be a minority female in the field artillery and not perform.
Yeah.
The minute you lapse is the minute that they kind of look at you and say, this is why we didn't want them to begin with.
I told you she wouldn't make it.
Exactly. So I quietly dealt with it for a while.
Wow.
And then eventually we got to the point where they were like pain management. So this is about 5 years after. 5 years later, so we didn't really do anything about the
put up with this for 5 years?
Yes. So 5 years, and with conservative care that they were giving me. So I went into pain management.
Wow.
And so we started doing lidocaine injections, medial branch blocks.
How much accommodation just in ADLs, activities of daily living, did you have to make just to survive?
I just paid a lot for massage therapy on my own outside of what the VA was giving me.
Wow.
And they were doing what they could with what they were allowed to do at the time. I'm not going to bash them, but I'm just going to say that
the VA is woefully inadequate for most major things.
Correct. And that I was unfortunately on the receiving end of that.
Wow.
So luckily during COVID, we were able to go to primary cares or pain management that were not affiliated with the VA. So my pain
Wow.
management doctor was non-VA. And I figured, okay, we're going to get a different kind of care right now. What I was being told was we need to go do ablations, and then we're going to have to go in and do more invasive. And I said, can we do something conservative first? And they said, no, you're at pain management. We don't go backwards. We go forward. And so I said, I want to see a chiropractor because I already had experience with a chiropractor. And they told me no. At that time, that base did not have a chiropractor on there, and they weren't going to refer me because coming out of COVID, they no longer wanted to pay physicians that were off base. So I was stuck. I decided when I went to visit lovely Wyatt on one of our 5-hour trips,
Mm-hmm.
I said, there's a chiropractor nearby him. I said, let's just go and see what they can do. And in 2 visits,
Wow.
the pain that I had for the 6 years at that time was gone. Granted,
Amen.
it came back to a lesser degree within a month, but I was able to get relief. That
Wow.
injections, nerve blocks, no one and nothing would work. And so I just, I was kind of frustrated at
Yeah.
that point, a little angry. to be
Also,
honest with
suck
you.
it, Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Like, your VA bureaucracy didn't do anything in 2 chiropractic visits.
Right. Which was significantly cheaper
Yeah.
than whatever they were
Uncle
doing.
Sam could have saved some money if they would have just let you experiment with less.
Come on now.
Serious.
When's the last time you saw the government actually save money?
Where was Doge?
Silly me, you're right. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, where was Doge?
So unfortunately, I think I was a little bitter, and I was a little angry
Yeah.
because the culture, military side, especially combat arms side, is to persist on an injury, suck it up. You don't show that you're injured, and
That's right.
which is the
Which is ridiculous.
exact
It's the
opposite.
exact opposite of what you should be
It's-
doing.
You know this. Athletes
Yeah.
know this. I don't know why that's still pervasive in the culture.
You're a better soldier. You're more effective at performing your duty if you get appropriate care in a timely manner.
Listen, y'all didn't watch Rambo?
Rub
sti-
some dirt in it.
Yeah, he stitched himself up. No big deal. All
I
right.
know. I was being a crybaby about this.
That's right.
Me soldier, me strong.
Yeah.
Is that what you were thinking when on this 5-hour drive? You're like, just suck it up.
Yeah, wimp. T12 compression fracture.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
So a little frustrated at the time.
Yeah.
And I went through my last deployment, knowing that something had to change.
So that happened before her last deployment. So,
Yeah.
you know, that there was still another deployment after that.
Oh my gosh. Ayesha, what in the
Yeah.
world?
Well, I needed to go on this deployment because that was the only way that I could get the duty station to be near
Yeah.
to Wyatt.
Stay at-
And
Oh, this
Yeah.
was before El Paso.
She's playing chess.
I dealt with it for this man, so you owe me.
Oh, man, it's like,
Wow.
I think Rick's Chop House, they're taking reservations.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
so have you guys done the ring shopping yet? I'm going to get all of your business.
You know, actually, she doesn't like jewelry. I think the military.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, they break
she's
laws.
not a big fan of jewelry.
Okay.
So
It's a liability. It can get
Yeah.
caught in
Well, sure.
machinery
Yeah.
and
I
break
get
your
it.
fingers off. So
I'm just going to.
Yeah.
There you
have-
go.
Yeah.
or silicone rings.
Or
right?
silicone, yeah.
There we go. It's about the symbol, right? It's
Yeah.
not about the material.
That's right.
That's
right.
my feelings.
Or in my case, it's about the swollen, fat, untanned line right there.
So I have to ask, and the audience is wondering, after 7 years, what's next? Like, you guys are de facto married at this point. You've been together. You're each other's person. It sounds like you have that commitment for each other.
Does he
Yeah.
still have the twinkles?
Absolutely.
The twinkles. Have you seen them look at each other? The twinkles are obviously there.
It's like, they're like
So he
they're
sounds.
like peanut butter and jelly there at the Lynx meetings. I'm like, we need a chaperone to table 7.
yeah, no, she's definitely my person and somebody I rely on daily.
Yeah. I think we make a great team.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us about Spine Ally.
Okay. So it's Spinally.
I was about to say, it's not Spine Ally. It's Spine.
I
But
like. I'm looking over here.
here's the thing. We colored it so that you can say Spine Ally because that goes with our backgrounds, right?
you're
We are
ally.
allies
Right.
of your spine.
Yes.
But the way that we said it was spinally, as in
Finally,
finally. And that's because that's how I felt after all those years of looking for something to be done about my pain, or for someone to give me some hope. So the whole purpose of reason for me getting out was because I was just kind of sick of that culture of the persist on your injury.
Mhm.
So I made the decision to leave before my last deployment, which I got stop loss and ended up being there a year as opposed to the 9 months that we were supposed to be there. And so that just solidified the I need to go because I couldn't rehab my back while deployed. It didn't happen. We were in an austere base in Afghanistan, and that just wasn't an option. And so there was another year of me not taking care of my body.
Wow.
And so when I got back, my commander asked me, "Can you stay for one more exercise? It's a big deal." And I said, "Absolutely. For duty, as long as I can rehab while I'm doing this, because I've put my body through enough." He said, "Whatever you need, we'll do it." And I told him, gave him my decision. And he said, "What are you going to do after?" I said, "I'm going to go be a chiropractor." Why in the world? Because now this is now taking another pay cut because I made it to the rank of captain at that time. Later made major while I was in the reserves, but taking a pay cut to now go to school, be a student for 3 years, go back and work with 20-year-olds after being 40. And so why do I want to do all of that? Because something needs to change. The culture in the military needs to change about rehab.
Yeah.
There's no reason that the NFL, all of these great sports athletic organizations have the formula on how to rehab things, but the military doesn't. We're supposed to be treating our soldiers basically like high performance athletes, and we don't.
Yeah, because they are.
Exactly. And in the most dire circumstances.
Yep.
And so my goal was to get back into influencing some VA policy, also the general public. We're starting to see that shift to holistic medicine.
Yep.
It's happening. And I could not be more grateful to be part of that that surge, so to speak,
Yeah.
in that. And so my ultimate goal is to give back to the veteran community in that giving them hope when they didn't have it, or when the VA providers were like, "We don't know what else to do but to give you pain meds."
Yeah.
And a really sad but further inspiring story was while I was in chiropractic school, we all have our chiropractic stories for what got us in. And, mine's dramatic with jumping off the back of a Chinook and getting a fracture. But some of them are more inspiring with less dire circumstances. I had a buddy of mine. She told us this story about her brother. He was on pain medication, had severe pain in his the thoracolumbar region, and he was cut off from medication. They said, you're becoming an addict. We can't help you. And granted, that might have been the case, but what ended up happening was he turned to the streets and he wanted to get pain pills off of, Joe Schmo on the corner. And unfortunately, he got some that were laced with fentanyl and died because of this. And so we're seeing opioid deaths because of back pain that could have otherwise been helped by a chiropractic adjustment.
Yep.
And so that just further, inflamed me to just keep with this this journey of trying to incite the change, trying to give people hope when not the medical community is very necessary, but you need to apply it at the right times. And sometimes we just need to do some conservative care first before we start doing shotgun blasts.
This whole issue that you just brought up is so close to my heart because my brother's Air Force Reserve. He's a major as well in Air Force Reserve, and he is in the medical corps. Professionally, he's been a nurse for I don't know how many years, a lot of years. I'm not sure exactly how many. Started out as just a regular med-surg floor nurse and then moved up through all the ranks. He's done ER, he's done trauma, he's done critical care, he's done everything. Then he went and got his nurse practitioner. And then just literally this month in January, he moved over to Big Pharma, quote unquote, doing non-narcotic pain management specifically for DOD personnel.
Wonderful.
And the whole thing is like, Eric, what are you doing? Like this is a pretty huge shift from where you've been in the middle of healthcare provider. You've stood next to surgeons. You've been in trauma bays and ERs, and you've seen the worst of the worst. I mean, he literally was one of the nurses who worked on the Dallas police officers that were shot on July 7th a few years ago. He was in the operating room, in the trauma room when that happened. He was like awarded and on the news and the newspaper and everything. Like that's his backstory. and he decides to switch to do exactly what you're trying to do, non-opioid therapeutic pain management for our, I'm guessing everybody, not just our heroes, but general public, is you give me a choice, and this is not I'm not going to go down this rabbit trail, Fred. Don't worry.
It's all good.
The whole cannabis thing is such an interesting topic, and I'm not going to ask you what your thoughts are because I know it's still a controlled substance and whatnot. But we've had a couple of people come through here, and we had the cannabis conversation. It's like, yeah, I get it. It could be a gateway drug, but we're talking about the absolute crisis of opioid drug abuse. And I'm not foolish enough to think that here in McKinney, there's not a lot of that. Yes, we are an affluent suburb in a very, very well-to-do town, in Dallas-Fort Worth. But I mean, in our city, statistically, there are hundreds of people out of 220,000 that are currently abusing opioids, that are dependent. And it's like what you're doing and what you, plural, sorry, Wyatt, what you guys are doing is the good work, so to speak. Making sure that people don't feel the need to get on pharmaceutical pain management, because you want to talk about wrecking liver and kidneys, it's just not good for you.
Right. There's no end to it. That's the problem. And what we're trying to do is restore hope.
Yeah.
Because I think the mental thing is some people just become the diagnosis.
Yeah.
And once you do that and you accept it, there is a mental component to these diagnoses.
Yeah.
And it is a sickness that is upon you. You are not that sickness.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's part of the underlying push that I think that we're getting to. And I'm really happy to hear that your brother's doing that. It's incredible.
And he said it's literally a calling. He's like, if I can help a former service member stay off of opioids, then I'm doing my job. Like that's his why, is helping provide safe alternatives to provide chronic pain management for former service members who have very similar stories to what you did, I would imagine. Right. Some worse, amputations and, terrible injuries and, missing pieces of their body in service of God and country. And it's like, it is a noble cause. Yeah,
absolutely.
So talking about Spinally, or Spine Ally, as Fred calls it.
Yes. Works both ways.
That's right. They're friends of your spine.
2 questions for both of you guys. How in the world did you end up at McKinney, and how did Spinally become a thing where you just decided, we're going to do this, we're going to do it together? And then Wyatt, I'd love to hear from you on what your role is in all of this. Or if I'm guessing you're not a practitioner, you're some sort of support, whether it's ops, sales, marketing.
He's eye candy. He's eye candy.
Everything but the chiropractor.
Yeah, you're the glue, and she's the talent.
He's the tingles, or the twinkles.
Probably tingles too.
Column A and B. That's neuropathy.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was about to make that joke. There we go. Yeah, that's a clinical condition.
Yeah, I know.
So how'd you guys land in McKinney?
I'll let Wyatt tell you that.
So when she was getting out of the military, she said, "I'm going to go to chiropractic school," and I was like, "Great. Where's that at? What does that mean?
What is that?
Was it Parker or somewhere else?
Palmer in Palmer. She said, "I'm going to Florida.
Okay.
You can come with me, or you can stay here in Arizona." And so I was like, "All right, we're going to Florida then."
So
North Florida.
So we lived just a little bit north of Orlando while she went to chiropractic school in Palmer. And then whenever she was getting out, she said, "All right, since you moved out here for me, where would you like to go after this?" So we looked around Florida, and I have family in Oklahoma, so we'd always liked Dallas and the Dallas area. So we were like, you know what? I told her I would like to go back to Dallas. And so we came back to Dallas. She got a preceptor in the Arlington area. And then while she was doing her preceptor, which is her final rotation before graduation, we started looking around Dallas to find out exactly where in the Dallas area we wanted to live. So we went all over Fort Worth, Dallas, north and south, and really liked the McKinney area. And that's where we just kind of fell in love with McKinney. So we initially chose a place to live in the Frisco area, but have since then migrated to McKinney.
You saw the light.
We did.
You've realized how much better McKinney is than Frisco.
Yeah. Right. And so when we were looking for a place to open the office, McKinney was our first choice. And
awesome.
And we just love McKinney.
And is this a fully independent business? Are you part of some large organization?
No, fully independent.
Fully independent because I said I don't want a boss anymore.
I knew the answer to that question in my heart of hearts, but I just was curious. That was a dumb question, Fred. I shouldn't have asked that question.
I was tired.
Does this seem like the kind of lady that would be under someone's corporate umbrella?
Yeah, no.
But what actually drew us to the area quality wise is the diversity.
Mhm.
And it's so interesting because when we started looking at the different cities in Dallas, Fort Worth is very traditional.
Wonder Bread.
Yes, it's very traditional. It's very shoot 'em up cowboy, right? That's what you think of. And then, we see the Dallas side is a little more of a melting pot. We started looking north to Plano, and Plano was like, "Ooh, we can get Korean barbecue," because I did a tour in Korea, and I
It's
went
right
to
next to Farmers Branch,
ex-
which is basically Little Korea.
Yeah.
right, and
Yeah.
so we were like, "Oh, I
H
love this."
Mart, right?
That's
the
right.
one.
Yeah.
There are
Okay,
places
we
in
go.
Farmers Branch where the street signs are in Korean.
Yeah. Wow.
I need to go there.
Yeah.
I kid you not. Like there's Korean and English right next to each other on the street signs
I like it.
in parts of Farmers Branch.
And Harry Hines.
Well, that's the beauty of it. But Wyatt put it so elegantly. He said, "I like Fort Worth." He said, "But I think that North Dallas is more indicative of us. It shows you and me, and that cultural diversity is represented there. So let's go there."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Man, you're getting so many brownie points right now."
Yeah.
No pun
There
intended.
you go.
Look at all those twinkles.
All those twinkles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really what drew us here. And then McKinney just kept our hearts because we joined Rotary, and then
Yep.
the Mayor Cox started telling us about how diverse we are, how quickly we're growing.
Yeah.
Our population's going to double in the next 5 years, and so we want to be part of that growth.
Yeah.
And granted, there's a ton of chiropractors here, but when you look at the ratio of chiropractor to citizens, there's not enough of us.
Yeah.
And so there isn't a lack mentality when it comes to
Yeah.
is there enough patients for me to treat? Not at all. You'll find your brand of chiropractor that works for you because it's like perfume.
Yeah.
It's some appeal to some and some appeal to others.
Although, before we hit record, apparently female chiropractors have the upper hand. So go ahead and
Literally the upper
Literally.
hands.
We do.
the dexterity.
Go ahead and put some wheels to that bus so that
If you're looking for a rack 'em and crack 'em,
Yes.
then get yourself a 6'5", 270-pound male chiropractor.
Right. And
But there's other ways.
correct. And I think if I were to use rack 'em and crack 'em in medical terminology, since you love the medical terminology, you're familiar, I would say that's a global mobilization of joints, right? The beautiful thing about chiropractic here is that it should be a specific adjustment delivered to a particular joint. Sure, we're going to influence joints around it,
Yeah.
but it's a precise adjustment. And the reason why women might be better fit, at least ones with more dainty fingers, is that we can access smaller contact points when it comes to adjustments. So women have a little more finesse when it comes to adjusting. They don't have to put as much force into it unless, you have, grandma's dough making hands. Then you're going to
grandma's
The abuela.
yeah.
with the little sausages.
Or my
right?
nona, the nona hands.
The Nana sausage hands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You may not be able to get, onto a cervical TVP
Oh my
during
gosh.
transverse process, but
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of the particular type of chiropractic care that we offer at Spineally Chiropractic. So we are a Gonstead-based chiropractic.
Ah, there you
facility.
go. I was about to ask what your underlying philosophy was. Okay.
And so chiropractic care under the Gonstead system is very specific, gentle adjustments applied at the correct vectors only to the areas that need to be moved. If we have hypermobile joints, we don't need to move them more. If we have joints that are stuck and need to move, those are the ones that need to move. And those are subsequently the ones that cause hypermobility in the other regions. So when we do global mobilization and we're adjusting and the rack 'em and crack 'em, as we quoted it,
Yeah.
we're moving everything.
Yeah.
And so we aren't actually doing a targeted approach. It's kind of like the mass blast chemotherapy, right? No, we need targeted, specific care at a specific region and no collateral damage. And the way I look at and why I chose Gonstead Chiropractic Care because of the precision is because let's go back to field artillery. My targeting cycle that we go into when we're looking to prosecute a target.
Mhm.
You have to observe a target. You have to have pattern of life. You have to remain or have positive identification, PID, on that. And then you deliver whatever munitions you need minimally to that and eliminate or reduce any collateral damage. If you take that targeting philosophy and you apply it to the spine, you will get the Gonstead system, which inherently does a lot of analysis up front. We do x-rays. We have to see what we're adjusting. We do instrumentation, and that tells us exactly where this nerve is dysfunctional. Where is it not performing normally? And then on top of that, we're doing palpation. And palpation tells us which direction, which vector actually needs to go. And then subsequently, we adjust. So tons of homework up front, just like there's tons of homework before selecting a target and before prosecuting a target. And then you go and you get the minimum amount of force at that region in the vectors that you need and no more. Because why? We don't want to cause any damage to the tissues around it.
Wow. My marketing brain is swimming with ideas of how to draw those connections to each other. I'm surprised you don't have like a howitzer as part of your logo.
And some crosshairs.
That's right.
Yeah. And it's just like,
Yeah.
we take out the target.
Yeah.
That is your pain.
Yeah. And
Your
no
pain.
more. Yeah.
Your pain is artillery. Yeah.
They call that drop 50 fire for effect.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
But
Whiskey Hotel. Whiskey Hotel.
there we go.
Okay, so we had some offline conversation actually a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And this is the one that's going to get people really tuned in. It might be the nugget.
Okay.
What's
I'm
your
pretty sure she just gave us the nugget.
Oh no.
That was
What's your conspiracy theory?
So it's more of a what has happened. I'm just reporting on. So chiropractic care has had a little bit of a stain on it, and there's a little bit of like a wet towel that still exists, even though we're moving to this holistic care. And the question is, like, where did all this come from? Like, why are chiropractors sometimes referred to as quacks? And I was not aware of this until
You never heard the chiropractor?
No, I did not. And I was quite offended when I did. But going through philosophy and history while we were in chiropractic school, we were made aware of things and events that happened before I was even born. And then some of them after. So I'm not trying to give my age out here, although we said it about 8 times already. So if we look back in the 1950s, right, there was the Iowa State Medical Society. And what they were doing was they were seeing success in chiropractic stories that were uncomfortable for them. People were getting better outside of just pain or musculoskeletal injuries. And they didn't know how this was happening. There is a correlation between nerve dysfunction and organ dysfunction.
Yep.
So people were getting better. And what was happening is the chiropractic community was infringing on their patient, the number of patients that they could see. Patients were starting to go see chiropractors instead of seeing medical doctors. And this was not a comfortable thing for them. So they started this mini campaign against chiropractors in Iowa.
Yeah, kind of like the Salem witch trials, but only MD people going after the competition.
Exactly.
Who's harming their economics.
Exactly.
And fabricating boogeyman stories to discredit the practice of chiropractic.
Yes. And it's the AMA. And again, I'm not speaking ill of the medical society. I think it's very necessary. They've saved my father's life.
Mm-hmm.
He's had quadruple bypass, emergency medicine. It is all necessary, but it needs to be applied.
You can't chiropractic a way out of a blocked coronary artery.
No, you cannot.
There is no adjustment.
Correct.
Okay.
Hold on, sir. I'm going to adjust your heart real quick.
Exactly.
With my dainty female fingers.
I can get in there.
That's right. Oh, that makes you Mola Ram from Indiana Jones.
Mugaram, sugaram.
I have no whip.
Which is, by the way, one of the most subtly racist movies of our generation. It's like, oh my gosh. You want to talk about movies you see as a person in 2025 and go, oh, I did not catch that when I was a kid.
I feel like we're better, though. We're better now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're better. So.
These,
All right,
yeah.
so
Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways, way to go, Fred. You drew me off sides there.
Squirrel. Okay, so the AMA got wind of what this smaller medical society was doing because it started becoming a bigger systemic issue. And the chiropractors were looking for parity among the medical providers as far as reimbursement from insurances and just being seen as medical professionals.
Yep.
So the AMA, unfortunately, started doing some of these clandestine meetings. And so they, in 1963, formed something called the Committee on Chiropractic. But that was too noble of a name, so they changed it to the Committee on Quackery. And so the purpose behind this was
That's
to
weird.
contain, quote unquote, contain and eliminate the chiropractic profession. And it was not based in that it was hurting patients. It was purely economics,
Yeah.
as you mentioned earlier.
I guess nobody told them that the practice of chiropractic predates modern medicine by centuries.
They were aware, and I think that's what drew them to form this committee. It was too threatening.
It's a threat.
It was too threatening.
Yeah.
And so again, at that time, that cohort decided to contain and eliminate the chiropractors. So between the 1960s and 1970s, the AMA was putting undue stress on providers that were told if you were referring patients to chiropractors or caught talking to a chiropractor, your license would be revoked. And this is to the medical professionals.
Wow.
And so they were
I had no idea that was happening.
they were stonewalling.
Wow.
The chiropractors were not allowed to send out for x-rays, conduct any lab services. And basically, there was paperwork that was being distributed saying that this is a cult. They're quacks. They had the ducks going out.
Okay, so what Supreme Court case, fixed
Yes.
this?
So that was
Because there's the only way this stuff ends when someone at the
Yes.
top of the food chain says, "Quit it, knock it
That's
off."
enough.
So in Chester Wilk, who was a chiropractor with 5 other DCs, they filed a federal lawsuit under the Sherman Anti-Treason
Yeah,
Act.
good old Sherman.
And that's where they sued the AMA because they were essentially organizing an illegal national boycott
Yeah.
to destroy chiropractics as a competitor. So they did this, but how did they get the information for all of this? This is the juicy
They got a
part.
double
All
agent.
right, come on now.
They did. They had someone within the medical community
Yeah.
was mailing all the meeting minutes from these clandestine meetings to different chiropractors. And they speculate that it might have been a disenfranchised
Yep.
medical doctor who had their license removed from them.
They had their own Hercules Mulligan, is what you're saying.
Yes, they called him Sore Throat.
Yeah.
That was the FBI's
Code
name.
name.
Yes, his alias
Yeah.
was
But
Sore
you
Throat.
Hamilton fans will get that reference. The rest of you won't.
We haven't gotten to that. Tickets are still too expensive.
Did you watch it on Disney Plus?
No, we want to see it in person.
Yeah.
Still worth
We
it.
saw it in person in December. It was
In New York?
Yeah, on Broadway.
That's where we want.
It
Jealous.
was magic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
Miranda to come back.
But in all fairness, we watched it like 20 times on Disney Plus
before.
first.
Oh, so you knew every word.
Every single word.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I highly recommend watching it on Disney Plus.
Okay.
It,
Well-
it did not take away from the live experience. If anything, it amplified it.
Okay, good.
Okay.
That's what I was a little.
Because it's a
scared.
different cast.
Uh-huh.
And I was concerned about it being less special because it's not the original cast that I was so used to
Right,
seeing
right.
do all the performance. Didn't matter at all.
Really?
Zero.
Okay.
And the current cast was every bit as enjoyable as Lin-Manuel Miranda
Yes.
and everybody else.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Good.
No.
No.
I'm not a Broadway fan. I'm not really into musical theater as a category. I think it's weird and cheesy and kind of goofy.
Yeah.
But Hamilton is just
No, it's
different.
different.
It's
It's
just
different.
different.
It is.
Great
It's a
soundtrack.
cultural phenomenon.
Great
is what it
soundtrack.
is.
Yeah.
I actively made fun of it when Allison found it because I didn't know who Lin-Manuel Miranda was. I'd
Right.
never heard of In the Heights, which is another.
Yes.
They made into a movie. It's
original.
also fantastic.
Mhm.
But it was like, whatever. I don't like Broadway. Broadway's for goofy, lame
New
people.
Yorkers. Ugh.
Yeah.
And
And then
Yorker.
literally like 5 minutes in, I was like, not throwing away my shot. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? What I'm like toe tapping to this music.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So
It's quite a
the double agent story.
Oh, yeah.
We're so far off track here. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Um,
It's worth
yeah,
it.
it's-
worth it.
yeah.
Yes.
So the double agent blew up the
Yes.
whole plot,
He did.
and it
did.
resulted in a Supreme Court verdict.
Yes. So after the verdict was rendered, it took 11 years though.
Wow.
11 years of litigation, and then finally they came out and said that the AMA was guilty of a lengthy, systematic, and successful unlawful boycott of the chiropractic community.
Wow.
And so they were ordered to stop the boycott, to publish the decision. They had to notify all medical providers of what was happening, and then they had to cease any interference with chiropractors.
And most importantly, chiropractic is now allowed to submit to insurance for reimbursement.
Yes.
Yeah.
To a degree.
To a degree, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's great, but the problem is that there's still a little bit of that festering. It's still in the air about there's some distrust with chiropractic care.
So the ultimate medical psyops.
Yeah, it was.
Or psyop.
And so the other part that is of interest to me is, because I didn't know this until we were in chiropractic school, is Medicare, the hot button topic, is that it does not cover an initial visit for chiropractic care. They do not cover initial visits at all. They do not cover x-rays or any modalities, meaning heat therapy, ice therapy, massage therapy, if it's rendered by a chiropractor. But Medicare does pay for subsequent visits. So second, third, fourth visits.
Make that make sense.
And it has to be under an acute care condition, so an active treatment. So there's a little bit of it's kind of like, why?
So chronic pain management
strange hoop
is not covered at all.
It's correct. So there's no chronic pain management, no preventative management, but then you couldn't even get to the active care without getting some kind of reimbursement from your patient for the first
because
visit.
God forbid we get in front of the problem and prevent it from happening.
Correct.
But at the same time, though,
Thanks,
it'd be interesting if they applied that to everything, so that, as a patient, you have to have some skin in the game.
Yes.
I can, part of me says, well, that kind of makes sense, but why is it that everyone else you go see, but for chiropractors, oh no, you need to pony up some, some cheddar here.
Who are the people on Medicare? Typically seniors on a fixed income.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think those seniors are going to come out of pocket $300 for an intro visit and x-rays? No.
No, and not only that, explaining that process to them, that they don't pay for the first, but they pay for the second and third, is even more confusing, because at that point,
why am I even here?
Yeah, they don't understand the system at that age. They don't. Do you want to understand it? No, I just want help at that point. And so now
they go and get an injection or they take a pill.
Correct.
And then,
or you can see your medical provider, who they pay for the first visit and any subsequent visits for.
Yeah.
And so therein lies some of the lingering of there's still a stonewall.
So when are you going to go to Austin or DC or run for office or become a part of the fix?
As soon as I know who our representatives are, which we have our representatives coming today to record. So maybe this is something that we can bring in front of them and say, why is the parity not there between chiropractors and medical providers? Because I can say what I want, but I think our state representatives would have more of a voice.
At the risk of sounding like I'm just going off topic again, have you talked to the trade associations that are prominent in chiropractic? Because I'm a huge proponent of advocacy and collective advocacy, using trade associations to put force behind opinions. Yes. If there's anything that elected officials listen to, it's large groups of their constituents coming to them with a singular voice.
It's the chiropractic associations in America are quite healthy. I was part of the Florida Chiropractic Association while I was a student, and I was able to go to the Capitol and meet some of the state representatives that were lobbying on behalf of chiropractors and also chiropractic students. I have not done that here in Texas just yet because we're so new. Yeah. We just opened September, and so we're still figuring out the nuances of which chiropractic associations would be best to ally with, and that's the goal. The goal is to get to the state representatives through these chiropractic associations because they already have the system in place to leverage. Sure. We just need more voices saying we need help.
Most of what you're describing as problems is regulated at the federal level.
Okay.
Most of what you're describing is irrelevant at the state level because it is the Department of Health and Human Services. FDA obviously is involved, American Medical Association. There's so many federal entities that are the ones that are responsible for making this happen, because all these insurance companies are multi-state operations. They are national in scope. So for insurance is typically regulated at the state level, and healthcare is typically regulated at the federal level. There's almost zero involvement for like healthcare policy at the state level. So as you're thinking about advocacy, and I'm sorry to put my coach's hat on for a second, I'm so deep into that way of thinking. I mean, I've been involved in 3 different political action committees and gone to Austin a bunch of times and DC a bunch of times. But as you're getting involved, like think in terms of the national organizations that represent chiropractic.
Like
in
American
an advocacy.
Chiropractic
Yeah,
Association.
exactly. Those are the people that have professional political operatives on Capitol Hill that understand the nuances of these issues, because it's not even the elected officials. And I hesitate to take words out of Carissa Richardson's mouth. It's not even the elected officials. It's the legislative directors on staff at these offices, because these elected officials are responsible for dozens of bills, dozens of different issues. There's no possible way for that official to be personally up to speed on everything. That's why they have staff. That's why they have people that are in charge of these legislative positions. So that's just in general, audience. It's not just, talking here in the studio. If there's something you're caring about, figure out who makes those decisions and who's impacting them, whether it's local, county, state, or federal, because each one of those 4 jurisdictions has different areas of authority and jurisdiction.
Influence.
And influence. What you're trying to get done is almost exclusively at the federal level.
Okay.
So just FYI for future.
Well, that's good to know. And then same thing will be when we approach the VA policy, right? And which is another area. It's the change is happening though.
Yeah, it is.
It's happening.
Yeah, I mean, every time there's a new president who comes in, there's a new director of the Department of Veterans Affairs, under the Defense Department. Is it under the DOD? The VA?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not familiar with exactly what the flow chart is there but yeah, I mean, gosh, what a great episode.
I know.
We've hit this from 2 different angles.
Right.
And you're the 3rd chiropractor we've had on the show, and your angle in all of this is completely different. Yeah.
And that's why I said it's like perfume. You've got to find the chiropractor that works for you. And people have different strengths, and even the disciplines and techniques and training. I mean, there's people who are better trained for mother babies versus someone who's going to go in with a targeting mindset, right? And so, and there's just enough. There's enough, and there's no lack here. And McKinney's growing, so we're going to need more chiropractors to help people get more hope.
Love it. Let's hit with that final question. And Wyatt, you're in on this too. You can feel free to have an answer.
Okay. Who would win in a fight? Have you tuned into our other podcasts?
Just the one with Stephanie Talley.
Okay,
all right. Remember how this goes?
Yeah. I don't remember.
Okay, so
this
is no. Who would win in a fight between a giant polar bear, 12 feet tall, and a great white shark, maybe 18 feet long, 5 feet tall, deep? They're in a body of water, 6 feet, infinite dimensions. There's no sandbar, no shallow area, no shoreline, no getting out of the water. Who wins that fight? Bear or shark?
Shark.
I'm going polar bear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
are you doing that just to oppose?
No. I thought polar bear all along.
Why do you think polar bear?
I just think they're just stronger. They could get around a little better. I just think that a polar bear would win that fight.
Alrighty. And Ayesha?
I would say the shark, because of your comment about there's a infinite depth to this.
Sorry, it's infinite width. It's
width.
not infinite depth.
Oh,
the shark can't go down and come up.
Okay.
The polar bear is not treading water.
Okay.
Does that change your answer at all?
That does change my answer.
Do we have our first double polar bear in a while?
Have we had many double guests? So
no, I don't know.
Double bear.
Are you feeling ganged up on right now?
No, I'm not feeling ganged up.
No, Fred is Team Shark. I'm Team Polar Bear.
Really?
And you both welcome to Team Polar Bear. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There you go.
I'm sorry, you're the minority in the room.
I am. Well, in many aspects, yes.
Hey, you know
I
what?
could say that, though.
That's right. That's right.
It would not be hard at all for us to figure out a workflow for our guests to, when they pick their team, after the episode, they're sent in the mail their team shirt.
Oh, wow.
Team Shark, Team Polar Bear. And have it be from our vendor, print on demand, and just whoop, straight to their house.
That's right.
That's perfect.
Well, what's your reasoning for this?
Fred, I'll let you go first, man.
You know, for me, the shark is they're in the shark's natural environment because the shark can breathe, you know, underwater. So for me, you know, and I have my theory on why, you know, Florida people typically lean towards the shark. But my thing is that is his home environment. Yes, the polar bear can stand up, has 4 sets of claws and teeth. But, you know, having had personal experience with, you know, up front with shark and seeing the speed, and, you know, growing up watching Jaws and, you know, some Shark Week things, Sharknado.
Yes.
You know, there's just things where I'm like, man, you know, just infinite rows of teeth and, you know, a skin that is, you know, as you know, nature's chainmail. Those things, you know, for me, I'm like, man, I think the shark would win. You know, I don't think it would be an easy win. And there are times where I consider like, yay, man, the polar bear, he can stand up and see the thing coming. But I'm just Team Shark.
Okay.
Yeah, I could not be more Team Polar Bear. I think Team Shark has no chance. It's 1,000-pound, 12-foot tall killing machine with 5 weapons. Have you seen a polar bear's paw? That thing is as big as your head.
Massive.
Your whole head is smaller than that thing's paw. You know those talons? Those are like 4-inch claws on the end of that paw. And it's got 4 of them, plus a mouthful of teeth. It's like a walking 1,000-pound special forces squad.
Yes.
And it's got, you know, there's 8 people in a squad, 2 fire teams. Each person on that squad has a different specialty.
Well, you know, we're going to keep it that way, man. The shark is like the M1 Abrams. I mean, it's like, it's a machine also.
It's like the SEAL team that hits the beach somewhere ain't from there, but they still wreck shop there. They don't have home field advantage anywhere they go. They still get it done. So, hey, this has been just phenomenal. We've overstayed our welcome with your hour block. Thank you for giving generously of your time. This is so much fun.
Thank you for having us.
Hey,
really
for those of you in the audience that want to connect with Spineally, not Spine Ally, but Spineally.
But they are your ally when it comes to your spine.
Yeah.
But it is Spineally.
So the information you filled out on your guest information form, that goes in the show notes as well as the YouTube description for those of you watching on YouTube. And I'll just say, hey, everybody, there you go. And thank you so much to Dr. Ayesha and Wyatt for coming out today. And this has been another episode of the McKinney Podcast. We celebrate what makes us unique by nature. We'll catch you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all take care.